my friends, it's Janie Walker from Grandma's Rules. And I've just got 9 rules here today. It seems a lot, doesn't it? Anyway, they're probably things that you know about anyway, but you've got to listen to an old girl, haven't you, giving a bit of a run on things. I do have a bit of wisdom over the years, got a few of those. Anyway, experience of life. And the first one that I wanted to talk about, first point, show up. Do you know that like 95% of success is just showing up? It's just a matter of being there. If you say you'll do something, do it. If you want something, make sure you're there. If you're interested in a topic, get be part of it, show up with it. I used to be pretty interested in horse racing, and my son-in-law, in fact, is a horse trainer. But one of the things you learn from that is that success is a nose. A win in a race is often a nose. You are so, the horses are so close together that it's like a hair's breadth. And I suppose that's true of races. If you go to the Olympics, it's a second, half a second that people, it is a small amount, and that person has just shown up more than the other. And I think that's a great lesson in life. And also I think the lesson there is that you have shown up, and if you come second, well, you've done your stuff, haven't you? You've done pretty well. You're in the top. But so there's always the other side. But you have shown up anyway. But show up. Be a part of society. Be a part of your family. Be a part of your friends. Get in there and, be an active member of society. Show up. Good point. Hey, you like that one? I'll give you even better. The second one is to be authentic. Now, I feel I speak from quite a lot of experience here, because I think often when I was younger, I don't think I was authentic. I don't think I was. I think I was trying to be sort of all things to all people, to sort of spin the plates and keep them all in the air of every kind of thing that I thought might please people. And, it doesn't feed your soul. It doesn't feed your spirit, because you know that if you were really honest with yourself, that isn't who you are. All of those parts aren't part of you. And so I think authenticity today is one of the things we are all looking for in our friends and in our workplaces and in our bosses, in our leadership. Leadership, I think, being something a little bit thin on the ground in this era. So I think a part of leadership is authenticity, and it is something that will feed you. It will uplift your family to know that you are the person you say you are, to be able to, be that person. Authenticity is so powerful in anyone's life, and it is something that is easy to just think, oh well, I'll please mum today. But as long as it's authentic for you, that's fantastic. The next point, I think, is to set boundaries. Again, this is really being the person you want to be. Boundaries are a part of authenticity, really, I think. They're close together. They're married. Well, I don't know that's anyway. But boundaries are so, when you are trying to be all things to all people, your time disappears, your feeling of self-worth disappears. You're scrambling all the time because you're doing things that you don't want to do, aren't part of you, you're perhaps not even good at them. And it really is very costly, I think, if you don't set some boundaries about this is who I am, this is what I do, I do it well, I support people, or I do whatever it is that I do, and I do it well. But outside of that, I have to give time to my family, I have to give time to my friends, and if you don't limit all of the things that otherwise will call on your time, then, and that you put inside, as boundaries for you, you will just, I think you just become sort of, I don't know whether it's you feel empty, or you just think there's got to be more to life than this. So set boundaries around yourself and around certainly what you'll accept from other people. I think that's probably where it most important, that if people are doing something outside of your value system, that you either move away from it, speak up about it, or whatever, but do something that fulfills the values that you have set for yourself. And we all have them, and we should be very careful to keep within those. So boundaries are important. The next point, which I think is point 4, I'm never good at keeping to those things, but anyway, the next point is to be grateful. I don't know if you've ever kind of practiced outwardly being grateful consciously, but if you do, you will find that your whole life, I think, just kind of inwardly explodes, or every day you are grateful for what is happening in your life. That I know what's the song? Some days are diamonds and some days stones. Well, that's true. They are. Bloody hell. But if you before you go to sleep every night, if you do 2 things, write down 3 things you did well that day and 3 things that you're grateful for that day, and do that for a month, and then have a look at that list and just see. Some days you will be grateful you've had a wonderful time, you've met some people and laughed till you thought you'd die, you've done all these it's fabulous. And other days you're grateful you got out of bed, you're grateful you got a sandwich for lunch, and you're very grateful you're going to bed now. Because some days are like that, but you still have things to be grateful for. And mostly the things that really make your life are little tiddly things that just put the icing on the cake. They're just gorgeous. Yes, little gorgeous things. I know sometimes for me, I live on a farm, and my family are on the farm, and some days it's things aren't. I'm just not feeling absolutely in the pink, and my grandson will come up and say, "Granny, I love you," and he'll be in the door and out of the door in probably 30 seconds. and my day is made. How wonderful is that? Or sometimes it's just that I get a call from the family, could I just come and help with something? Little thing. Not the big things. You know you're going to do those jobs. You know, I'm grateful that I am wanted. I am loved. I have meals every day. I live in a beautiful environment. I mean, there's so much for me to be grateful about, but often the things that really bring it to the fore for you are those little moments, the moments that make it. So gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Be grateful. And I mean, I know sometimes your life isn't a dream. And sometimes it goes for a while that your life is not a dream. But look for the good. And I must say, I'm a great believer that in every adversity there is an equal or greater benefit if you're looking for it. And I repeat that probably over and over. So I do think that is a truth. That is, I think, a law. Great stuff. And the next point is to be open. I dare say today the word is vulnerable, and I know that is a hard thing. Hard thing for people like me who've been strong women. You know, I can face any adversity. I can fight through this. I can, but I think to allow others in to see your vulnerability is a very uplifting thing, not only for you, but for them. For it allows others to also be vulnerable, to not have to be that strong person all the time, that they can show some emotion without being criticised for it, laughed about for it. I think it frees us all up if you are open and show your emotional side, that you don't keep that bottled up inside you. For a start, it's good for you anyway to not have that hammered down so far that you can't even reach it in your soul, but to allow yourself to be vulnerable, to allow people to see that you're not Mr. or Mrs. Steele. You might have a bit of marshmallow in there, a squishy bit. So allow that vulnerability to be part of you, and then you will free people up. You do free people up. I know you free people up. Of course, it's easy for some of us to always be the strong one. I'm the strong one. I can face anything. But that's not true. None of us are that person. So be a bit open, be vulnerable, and you will be, not only you will be happier, but your friends will have somebody that they know they can talk to, and that you can support them. Okay, my next point, and I think I've got 9. How am I going? I'm not too sure where I'm up to, but the next one is resilience. Oh dear, our kids are rather being deprived of this at the moment, I think. I don't think that's true of my kids here on the farm. They have to solve problems every day of their lives, whether they've fallen off a motorbike or, need some solution, whatever it is. But resilience in all of us is, I suppose you can't demand it in a way, but I think you can. I think that we all know that we have tough times. Everybody in this world has tough times. No one gets away scot-free. And that doesn't matter if you're a very wealthy person or a very poor person. I think it perhaps is easier to if you've got some money behind you, it probably is easier to sort of, whatever it is, I feel if you don't, it probably is a much harder place to come from when, every day is a struggle. But amazingly often, that's where you see real resilience in people who you think, God, they're amazing, that they can pull, that they are grateful, that they are out there, that they are positive. Often it's quite a shock. But resilience comes from inside of you, I think, that you say, I am, today's not my best day, but I can make tomorrow better. And that's a skill that we've all got. It's just a matter of tapping into it and finding it and knowing there is a solution, to be able to fight for the solution. I can give you stories in my life where to be resilient has been a very, very major part of getting happening again. And perhaps the most recent one is the loss of money. And the GFC came along. I was playing a game I shouldn't have been playing, and that cost me a lot of money. It cost me a lot of money. And I must say, I was wounded. I was I was very wounded. First of all, I felt foolish. I felt stupid that I'd allowed that to happen. I felt devastated that my lifestyle would change. I felt, I'm not going to go through them all, but I did. I felt, but tomorrow's another day. The sun comes up, whether you're going to be cheery about it or not, the sun will come up tomorrow. And I had to move on and gather myself. I must say that just took me a little while to gather myself. I'll be hit. But anyway, that resilience makes for a lovely tomorrow. Makes for a lovely tomorrow. And I think we should be living in the here and now, enjoying the moment. But we all have to know that there is something forward going for us. And that's where resilience comes in, uplifts you, and life is good. So be conscious all the time of the fact that resilience our children must be helped to be resilient, but we can demonstrate that by showing how we can get up through and go for it. Perhaps one of my very favourite, and this is, you're nearly at the end here, gals and boys. I hope you're not glad about that. But failure. Something I just loved was reading about the girl who started Spanx and is a multimillionaire, Blakely. And her father every day when they got home from school asked so what did you stuff up today? Because he didn't say it like that. It was much more eloquent. But he was so aware of the fact that it's by making mistakes that we achieve, that we learn. Sadly, we mostly don't learn from what we do right, and that failures can be, I dare say they're a part of resilience, which we were just talking about. It's all linked to all of these things, are linked. But that fact that if you don't have a go and risk failure, your life is going to be very, very lean from my point of view, because you won't have experienced so many things if you don't try. If you think of a baby, I mean, amazing how into failure they are. You know, when you watch that little baby learning to walk, my God, down, fall, roll, fall off the chair, get up again. What if they quit? What if they'd quit? What if when they were trying to say mum and dad and so on, they decided, oh, it's all too hard. No, I don't think I'll bother about talking. It's just skills in this life are learned. Everything. You learnt to walk. You learnt to talk. You learnt to eat. You learnt to go, to read. You learnt to write. Everything. But in that path, you had failures. Failures. Oh God, I think for me, learning to read, I struggled to learn to read. I think I was a bit dyslexic. And I didn't, when they'd ask me to stand up and read in a class, die. Because other people would roll along with the words. I was like, and the cat sat on. I was very slow. So failures are a part of our life, and I think we don't celebrate them enough. I think we should celebrate. That's why I love that story of Sarah Blakely, because they were celebrated for the things that they didn't do well, and so then they'd talk about how they could do them better or whatever. And her wealth came from a failure. She was hot and sweaty and going to an appointment selling Xerox, I think it was, and she cut the feet out of her stockings. And from that, she has built, I think she's one of the wealthiest women in the world today. Failure, if you look at your failures and think, God, what will I learn from that? What could I have done better? You will have the most amazing life. And you may well solve some amazing problem that we are facing today. So, love your failures. Take from them what you can. And, be grateful for each one and each day. Because mostly we just have little ones, and sometimes we have just big ones like I did. But I did a few times. I perhaps was a slow learner or something. But enjoy your failings. And the final point today is have no regrets. When they say, when you get to your deathbed, the thing that most people are regretful of is that they didn't spend more time with their family and their friends. So if that's happening for you, if you're working and your focus is only on that, just remember to, to spread your time a little bit better. But don't ever regret what you haven't done. If you feel you regret something, get to and do it now, because the nows don't always happen. So no regrets. Absolutely get on with anything you think you'd like to do in your life. At least make a list of them so you can tick them off and have that joy, because truly regret is the worst of all things. So get to and enjoy all of the things that you feel you want to achieve in your life. Enjoy the failures. Enjoy all of the, you will have failures, but don't regret that you haven't had a go, because that really you know, there's a little poem that says, I think it says, he was a curious man. He never drank or smoked. I can't remember all the words now. I could get them for you. They're pretty good. I might put them underneath this video. But anyway, if you can subscribe to my channel, I'll be very grateful. I'd love you to get more of what's coming up. If you'd like to make a comment, I'm happy. If you think it's good, I love it. If you think it's bad, I love it. And if you've got any other points that you'd love to hear from me, I'd love that too. So, subscribe, hit the bell, do all the stuff, and I'll talk to you soon. Lots of love from Grandma.